This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do another video so that it's out there for October 4th. The other videos I've done, I've removed and put over on the website. I'm only leaving videos up for 7 days. So if you're not familiar, October 4th, I did a video yesterday that is still up and how they're deflecting on conspiracies about that date. But October 4th is this mass emergency text, okay? Now, I've done the predictive programming on movies like The Cell, which of course ties to Stephen King, who is in the know, who does a lot of predictive programming in his films, and a lot of disturbing things in his books that don't make it to film, like the ending of It, which I covered a couple years ago, where, you know, it just conveniently ends with a lot of kids doing disgusting acts with one another, and this guy's writing about it, not thrown in a prison cell, but anyway. With the movie The Cell, obviously we saw a signal sent through the cell phones which caused people to go haywire, literally caused what looked like a zombie apocalypse. Now, I'm getting comments over and over and over again from people who are saying, it's just going to be another September 23rd. Watch, the 4th will come and go and nothing will happen. And that's the specific quote I want to do a video on, because what people don't seem to understand is that this is not going to be something that you're going to see with your own eyes, okay? This is not going to be something that happens where every single person just drops dead on the spot on October the 4th. It is activating something inside of people's bodies. Now, the whole mindset of a zombie apocalypse has a lot of metaphorical meanings behind it, right? I mean, we could just look at the basics of it and say we're living amongst zombies because nobody out there has, for the most part, has any thought process going on whatsoever. They're just on autopilot, like I always say. The other perspective of the zombie apocalypse, of course, is the people who potioned up. But what people think is that people are going to suddenly turn into zombies when they already are zombies. Okay? They're not going to just turn into zombies walking around the streets on October 4th. And people are not just going to end up croaking on October 4th. Now, some people probably will. But what ends up happening with these types of things that they do is they create silent wars. Right? Silent wars waged on stupid people who will never see this. So if anybody out there is expecting on October 4th that suddenly people are going to catch fire or combust, that's not what's going to happen. So they're going to use October 4th if they start continuing to deflect like they are, and they're going to say, look, people said that this was going to happen on October 4th. This is something you'll never see. You won't see it. So people who have this in them, and when this thing is activated, whether it's the 4th or the 11th or another date, but it's pretty clear it's one of those 2 days, that something's going to activate inside of them from the signal that's sent out. Thus, it's going to start creating something inside of their bodies. In other words, something that you can't see with your own eyes from the outside world. You won't know. Just like right now, do you know what's going on inside your colon? I mean, some of you might be having bowel movements listening to the video. Some of you might have Taco Bell for lunch. So yeah, maybe you do know what's going on from that standpoint. But would you know? Think about this, like when we hear about cancer and things like that, people find out they have cancer. A lot of times you don't even know what's any symptoms at all. People expect to feel like a pain, like they're getting punched in the chest when they have cancer or something like that, or even a brain tumor. Yes, there's side effects, there's symptoms, I should say, of these things. But for everybody out there who is looking at this date as if it's a September 23rd, these are not one and the same. September 23rd was a day that people have picked every single year to be a day of a rapture. Okay, that's what that date is always used for. It's the same thing. It's the same story. This October 4th thing ties in with the government. It doesn't tie in with any type of rapture event. It doesn't tie in with people croaking on October 4th right in front of our eyes. Now, what happens with these events, especially with something like this, is that it will never be reported on what really occurs because people will start to get sicker within the next window of probably a year to 2 years at the most, who get activated. A lot of people who had multiple are really going to see it really, really fast. But if it's inside your body, you will not know, and you will just end up croaking. And there will not be any propaganda news story saying why you croaked. You'll just be diagnosed with something that's just a normal thing that you hear about in your everyday life. Oh, so-and-so got cancer. But they don't know why they got cancer because you can't explain cancer, right? And of course, anybody from the CDC, or I should say any doctor who is working, who has a practice, gets his orders from the CDC. Thus, what will occur on the 4th is something you'll never, ever know about or hear about. So yes, for people out there who are commenting saying, October 4th will come and go and you'll prove that you're wrong about what's going on. You're not going to know if something went on or isn't going on. But it is really going on. But this isn't going to be broadcast on the news and people aren't going to be walking around foaming at the mouth on the 4th. Okay? This is going to be something activated inside of people's bodies. So people's bodies are going to begin attacking themselves worse than they already have. It's important to understand that because a lot of people are going to try to use this event as some way to say, oh, well, conspiracy theorists said something was happening on the 4th. Nothing happened on the 4th again, like September 23rd. I mean, I mentioned in my previous video about the 23rd, I did a video just warning people about the date to not fall for, not to have false hope in the day when it comes and goes, because I didn't want to see people end up, getting lukewarm in their walk or being upset or losing hope in God because they were listening to YouTube prophets. But most of the people who commented literally didn't even listen to my video and thought that I was saying September 24th was going to be a rapture-like event, because that's what we're living in now. Nobody even listens to the videos or the content. They just assume something and automatically just want to spray their deflection on. Maybe they listen to 5 seconds of the video and then they just form an opinion, which is probably, what we could all chalk up to this TikTok world we live in, where nobody has the attention span to sit through videos anymore. I mean, I remember every YouTube video used to be, 15, every video I did was 10 to 15 minutes. Now they seem to be a little bit longer, but people can't really listen. A lot of the millennials out there can't listen to a video longer than 30 seconds to a minute. So a lot of these people are seeing what's going on with the 4th. They see us talking about the 4th. They're all injected with poison. And they're like, I can't wait for the 5th because I'm going to go out there and say this. And a lot of other people out there who are going to hear me, who are new to this stuff, are also going to say the same thing. Understand this: when it's inside your skin, when it's in your body, okay, and it's activated, you won't even know that it's activated. And you're going to be diagnosed with something else in the next 6 months to a year to 2 years after that. You're going to be diagnosed with something. Does it mean you're automatically going to go bye-bye? Well, it could mean that for most people, I would assume, depending on how many they got, depending on your age. But something is going to be triggered and activated. Now, a lot of people believe it's going to be a specific virus, which I can't say here on YouTube because I'm not interested in getting a strike. But I'm sure most of you know which virus that is. That's a virus. I'll discuss that more on the website in the coming days leading up to October 4th, uprisingrevival.com. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. But I'm curious if people out there who are hearing all this stuff actually are believing that we're going to see a zombie apocalypse where people are foaming at the mouth, running the streets, World War Z. Those predictive programming that we see with all that stuff has multiple tie-ins to what's going on in our reality, right? We live amongst brain dead people. That's what a zombie is, right? Eats brain. Zombies, brain dead. It's dead. That's what we're living amongst. Look around us. We're in a zombie apocalypse already. Okay? Now, people who took the potion, it's a metaphor in a sense for what's going to be happening on the inside of their bodies. Okay? If everybody on the 4th suddenly started foaming at the mouth and running in the streets like this, then people would wake up and see. Then these people would be held accountable. Well, maybe not, actually. I'd say maybe these people would be held accountable for what they've done, but we still live in such a dumb world that people would probably laugh this off because they're so dumb. Just like I've said before about the Mark of the Beast. People will hear about the Mark of the Beast. They'll literally probably announce it as the Mark of the Beast, and people will still think it's a joke and be like, I'm going to get it. It's not the real Mark of the Beast. It's just Apple. They're marketing, everyone. They're just being funny and quirky. That's how ridiculous this society is. So we always see references to it, but we're already in a zombie apocalypse in a sense, and this will create, obviously, something major inside of people's bodies. But they want you to look at this as a day now. That's why they're deflecting on it, where it will come and go, and they don't want anyone to ever think, just like with the potion, months down the line when this active time bomb goes off, which is exactly what we all believe the 4th and 11 are, is the triggering of the bomb inside of them. It doesn't mean that it's an instant thing. Okay, it's like something spreading inside of you. Is it instantaneous? When people get cancer, do they die the second they get cancer? No. What do you usually hear? Oh, they got 4 months left. They got a year to live. They got 2 years to live. Oh, they went from, terminal cancer, regular, degrees of cancer. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Right? That's what happens with these diseases. What do you think this is going to be? If everybody just fell on the floor on October 4th, maybe people would actually wake up, but they would never do something like that because their hands are always going to be wiped clean and washed clean of these events. So an event like this, you'll never know. We're warning people, and I'm warning people about it, is to just stay safe. Don't take any chances. You don't know if somebody shed it upon you. And obviously they dump these chemicals on us from the sky all the time. We know there's oxide in the sky. Let's be real. So just be smart about it. People are like, well, you can't escape it. Well, yeah, you can escape it. And I get it. If you're out in public, just because you don't have your phone, other people do. So I don't recommend people go out in public. I recommend you go somewhere far away from a phone. Okay, and far away from people. Like go in your basement. Put the phones that you have in Faraday bags. Okay, if you don't know what that is, look one up. You can put it in your microwave then. Turn it off and put it in there. Don't turn your microwave on though. Okay, some idiot probably hear this and say I said to put their microwave on. Don't do that. Okay, so I just recommend a Faraday bag. Get one off Amazon. Get one somewhere, but don't get it from Amazon. We don't want to support Bezos, but get it from some survival company. A lot of them out there. A lot of people with channels, endorse those channels. I don't really endorse anyone because I don't know anybody, but You understand what I'm saying, I would assume, at this point, because so many people are commenting on these videos from October 4th in the last week or so. We're like, watch it come and go. And it's like, what mindset are you having here? Do you not understand? Like, when cancer and these things spread in your body, right? You get cancer, it spreads. It takes time. Most of us believe that this is the activation key. We've been waiting for something like this, not waiting, hoping, waiting, knowing that something like this was going to occur. And it is going to occur. Okay, it is going to occur. You're just not going to know it. It's not going to be on the news, and people aren't going to be running up the streets foaming at the mouth. Okay, we're already in a zombie apocalypse. Look at the people around us. Look at Gen Z. Look at the brain cells. Look at some of the comments from those people who comment on my videos from Gen Z. They don't have a clue, the slightest. But when you make people into narcissists through social media, taking pictures of themselves, constantly talking about themselves, opinionated on everything, you turn people into narcissists. They aren't going to believe anything you ever say because they're never going to admit that they're wrong. Narcissists never admit they're wrong. And that's what we're seeing going on. Why do you think they built all these people up so much into narcissists? They will not ever admit that, oh, all this stuff was a lie. This was a lie. The government's been doing this to us. People like me and you, we all went through the system. We went through the school system and everything else for the most part at some point, whatever part you got out of the school system, maybe you went all the way through. I went through to college. Huge regret, huge waste of time, huge waste of money. But I did. Learn nothing. It's completely useless. Everything I've ever learned, every trade that I have, I've learned on my own. They're teaching myself. Okay? But my point being is that those people don't want to break away from that and admit to being wrong. People like us can admit to being wrong. We can admit to being duped. You know, narcissists can't do that. So that's what we're living among. But October 4th, don't let people discourage you as far as if you don't see something on the 5th, because a lot of people are going to do stuff. There's going to be, I'm sure the mainstream media is going to come out and say, oh yeah, people said there was a conspiracy about what was going to happen on the October 4th and nothing happened. You know, more conspiracy, just making us sound and look dumb without addressing what we actually say, which of course would be something being activated in the body. Again, which will have longer, it will take longer for it to act, for it to run its course on a person's body, and people aren't all going to go at the same time. Thus, they'll be able to do this subliminally without anybody noticing it, killing people off without them noticing. Again, all these things that they do, people think it's just going to be like a nuke's going to go off, and then we can all point a finger at who set the nuke off. They set the nuke off inside your body, okay? And it's not going to go off at everyone's body at the same time. It's literally going to be activated. But everybody's body is different, and it's going to take differently depending on how many you've had and how many you haven't had and whatever else might factor in, your age, etc., your gender, etc., other poisons you put in your body, etc. So just wanted to put this video out there for people. Again, check out the website, Uprising Revival. If you haven't, make sure you sub to my backup channels. I got to be careful what I say about a lot of this stuff. So obviously most of you already know that, but if you don't, obviously I want you to know I have other channels. Please subscribe to those now if you like my content so you can find me in the future. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Hope we got that straight so people understand it better. Hope so, but probably not. Anyway, thanks, everybody. God bless all of you, as always, and your families.